Morning everyone, welcome to the first in this video blog in the life of a property developer. So this is the first video that we're doing. It's going to be the one that we look back on and cringe in many years to come, thinking that we've improved the video quality and the sound and just generally the way that we do these. So we are early on in the development of 6 luxury apartments just on the edge of the Cotswolds. We've already knocked down the existing building and we're now coming up to block and beam. So on Tuesday, we've got the crane arriving, which is going to lift the beams into place. On Wednesday, we've got the bank coming and the quantity surveyor. So they'll do a valuation of the work that we've done so far and then release the next stage payout. So that's always an important meeting. And it's the first time that I've worked with this bank. I won't name any names, but so far it's been really good. Hopefully they'll be impressed with the way that the site's set up and the marketing efforts that we're doing. So yeah, it'd be good to meet them. What else have we got going on? We've got a few meetings with subcontractors. We've got the plumbers and the electricians coming out just for a little pre-start meeting. So they can meet the other guys on site and talk through sort of cable runs and ducts that we need to get into place. Going to be pushing Howard this week to get some more letters out. We're always on the lookout for new land. So yeah, just need to send some letters out to people for potential sites so that we're lining up the next ones. There is a site that I've seen actually, not far away from our joinery workshop. So I'm really keen to take a drive over there. Might do it later today. Go and see what that's all about. Do a quick appraisal on it, see if there's any money to be made. On Friday, I need to go and meet a bank valuer because one of my buy-to-let properties has sold and the bank's coming out to do their valuation. So maybe take you along for that one. Get my haircut this week. It's going to be an exciting one. Got a holiday coming up, just going to Spain for a week on Saturday. So we'll get that done. That's it. So yeah, thanks for watching and we'll show you the rest of the week. Catch up with you later. So this is the block and beam arriving from Lightcast. As you can see, the lorry arrives with a high-up crane on the back so that he can lift it off himself. And then we've got the guys there adding the bearers on the ground so that it can come off nice and neatly. We then had a crane booked for the following day, and that crane was for the larger beams, which are 5.5 meters long. I think they work out to about 220 kilos, and we're using the narrow beams here. You can get 225 mil, but I think we went for the 150, which are the lighter ones, but still, when they're that long, they're too big to manhandle. So this drone is just showing you the final bits of preparation work in the void underneath the block and beam. We brought the services up, so you can just see those black ducts coming up there. That's where the water and the electric will come into the communal entrance hall. Here comes a crane lifting those heavy beams into place. Apart from being much quicker, it's just a lot safer, to try and get 2 men or 4 men humping those beams into place. You've got uneven ground and you're having to deal with various obstacles. It's much quicker and easier to use the crane. I think we had the crane for a whole day, so that's with the driver and the slinger that's attaching it on the other end. And then we've got our guys throwing the blocks in as we go. So it only took a couple of days and that whole block and beam floor was laid out, ready to carry on building on top of. So you can see we've got the sleeper walls going across there. Those walls are designed to break up the span for the beams. So we have to install a foundation all the way along, but otherwise those little sleeper walls, all they do is carry the beam just to take the flex out of the floor and make sure that it's nice and strong. And then we infill the beams with 7.5 Newton blocks. And then you get like a slurry mix that goes between it, which sort of locks it all into position. On top of that, when we get later on in the build, we will add membrane, Celotex insulation. Then we'll lay our underfloor heating pipes on top of the insulation before we pour the liquid screed on top. the company that we use, Lightcast, they do an alternative system where you can infill with these polystyrene blocks. We did do it on a previous site, and it can be quite effective, but it all depends on SAP calculations and what your engineer is looking for. It's a nice little time lapse that you're looking at here, which is showing you the difference sort of day by day as the building has evolved. So it's time for our weekly roundup then. What have we been up to this week? Monday started off bad, didn't it? With our sign getting smashed.
Yeah.
The weekly revelers obviously kicking or punching a hole in that. That upset me when I was driving in, I've got to be honest.
I'm surprised someone didn't like the PR development.
Yeah. And Aaron was definitely upset that his sign had been destroyed after all the hard work in the workshop. Council, they've been a bit awkward, haven't they, with the street naming? Yeah, so it was South Lynn House, so it seemed quite obvious to us that it was going to be South Lynn House Apartments, 1 to 6. But why didn't they like that?
So one of the roads close by has also got the name South Lynn, and it also contains 6 houses, so that is also 1 to 6.
Yeah. And what was the one thing I said to you when we applied? I said, the most important is to have the final numbers as the plot numbers.
Yes.
Because otherwise, plot 1 becoming plot 4 is a nightmare. Because otherwise you get your water meter installed, your electric meter installed, and they always cross it over. It's always a nightmare. So what did the council go and do?
Well, it's your fault because you put it out there to the universe. You said this is what I don't want to happen, and therefore they did exactly what you said they had done. So now they've
plot completely, they've jumbled it all up. We haven't got a clue what's going on, and plot 3 is going to end up with a bath in that shower room because no one knows what they're doing anymore. So that went awry.
That hasn't been perfect, but we've got time to.
We'll sort that out. And the council are there to be argued with, I think. So they've got their idea, we've got our idea. We just need to keep pushing them to do what we want to do.
We might come up with a better name.
Now, we did have a good meeting with the bank. They were happy, weren't they?
I think we've had some really positive meetings this week with a lot of people.
We've seen the bank. We've had the plumbers here. We've had the electricians here.
Estate agent.
Just had an estate agent lasting on a Friday. But the bank, that was their first visit for the actual bank to come and see what we're doing. They were impressed with our marketing initiative, the TV screen that we put up. They liked all the site cabins and all that setup, and progress. They seemed happy with progress. So that's always good to keep the bank happy. We had real positive meetings with the plumbers and the electricians.
I liked the fact that they were getting involved, not just in what they were there to do.
Yes.
But I didn't take it as they were blowing smoke because there's no smoke to blow. But they looked at plans and came up with things from a different perspective.
Yeah.
Whereas you've lived it for 2 years, I've lived it for 3 months, and we start to not see what's on the paperwork in front of us. They said, "Did you see this here?"
Fresh
and
eyes,
something that missed us by that suddenly becomes a really good idea that we can talk to estate agents about marketing opportunities and new features and ideas for the development.
I think so many developers are dismissive of the lads on site and just think, well, what's he know? He's a brickie or something. But all of these guys are going from development to development, seeing what worked, seeing what didn't work. It's important to listen to them. And
there's a lot of experience to tap into.
They speak a lot of rubbish as well, but you just got to work out what to listen to. So that was really good. Gate design. So you've been busy, haven't you, on Photoshop, trying to mock up the gate design?
Yeah, marketing continues.
Yes.
So you mentioned the TV already, but getting something up on these gates at the front of the development.
That's going to be...
That gives them a bit more information as to what we're trying to do. I think is going to be really good. We've got a cracking CGI image to go on there.
Yeah.
And lifting the lid a little bit more than we've already done on that TV video. I think it's going to be really important.
We went to look at a new site.
That was very interesting.
The Barns. And where are we? 3 days later. Has the estate agent rang you? Because he hasn't rang me.
Of course they haven't.
No.
So, having sat in sales, I'm really struggling to understand how people don't do the obvious thing and pick the phone up.
And isn't it ironic that same estate agent that I rang about that land is the estate agent that is 2 minutes away from us that will want to be selling these? And why would I use them? Why would I want to sell these houses through them when they've demonstrated that actually they don't call people back when they've got someone interested?
And when you rang and asked, are you familiar with it? And he said yes, and then couldn't answer the majority of very simple questions.
Have you been there? No. Do you know about this? No. Yeah. So
Which wasn't even a question he asked, was it? There was no qualification from his perspective.
So unfortunately, they were useless. And the development, well, we're a bit confused by it. It's interesting. The location's fantastic. It could be brilliant, but it needs to be less money, and it probably needs a bit of a redesign. So, yeah.
In one way, the location's brilliant. In another way, it's not so brilliant. If it was on the other side of the village, it would almost be a no-brainer.
But we also had a good drive around, didn't we? And we highlighted lots of different sites, and we're going to send them letters and see what comes of that.
That was really interesting to see. Google satellite view and street maps can only do half of the job.
Yeah.
When you go and see somewhere from the area's perspective as well, is this a place that we want to put our name on? Number of opportunities that we thought, hey, brilliant, let's pursue it. And a number that we've driven past that we've then looked at since and thought, there's nothing there for us, and move on past it.
I had my hair cut as well.
Can you tell it's a haircut that's
fresh shave? Important because I've got a holiday next week. I'm not here. So unfortunately, we've done our diary, but I think we're going to have to skip a week now. And then we will fast forward to masses of progress while I've been away.
You'll be looking tanned.
I'll be tanned on the next video, and we'll have some walls starting to go up for the next video. So
that's going to be really interesting, the ability to walk around one of these for the first time.
Yeah.
So we can start to incorporate and think about a few of these things that was mentioned about storage, etc., as to, are we better off leaving it as it is currently planned, or where can we pinch a little bit to make the design better and more marketable going forward? That's going to be a really interesting thing when we get back from holiday.
Sounds good. Well, it's Friday. It's 5:10. It's time to bugger off. Thank you for watching. Developer Diary Week 1